Greetings, this is Stephen V. Richardson and welcome to your business growth tip of the day. On a previous episode, I spoke about proper exposure being everything with regards to growing your business. And I want to dive a little bit deeper in explaining what proper exposure means. Well, first and foremost, exposure does not mean just one contact. Exposure actually means multiple exposures enough times within a short enough period of time to allow people to decide whether or not they will allow you to help them or not. So proper exposure is not just one time, and I'll give an example. There are often times where maybe you, definitely what I used to do, and what I see a lot of people do out there is they will, what I like to call, throw up over everybody. And that just means they tell them everything in one interaction. For example, you can do all the pieces properly. You can connect with somebody and just say, hey, how you doing? How's the family? Hope things are going well. What's going on with you in your life? And let that exchange happen. You may also say, hey, by the way, I'm actually looking to expand my business. I'm looking for some people to help. Do you happen to know anybody? You can do all of that in one interaction, but what I've found most successful for me and for others is to, what I like to call, layer your conversations. If you say everything at one time, it really, let's just say, distracts people to what your real motive is about reaching out to them. But if your initial exposure is something as simple as, hey, how you doing? Happy holidays. I hope all is doing well. Send. Now, you know, if you've done this enough times, that most people won't even respond to your contact. That's okay. Never judge, never guess. You don't know what's going on. You can probably guess that they've seen the, let's just say, communication, but you don't know what's going on in their life, and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt with regards to if they did not happen to reach back to you. But the main point is, you send something, and when that person properly responds to you, just saying, nice to hear from you, hope you're doing well too. And then when you get that response, that's when the next exposure comes into play, because now they've popped their head above the radar. No matter what was going on in their life, they took a moment to respond to you, and now you know they're still around, you know your contact information is valid, and you know that they're available at least at that moment when they reach out to you. So that's when you do that second exposure. And this is when you just say, hey, great hearing back from you. I look forward to reconnecting at our earliest convenience. Or maybe even better, hey, when's a good time to talk or to connect? Haven't talked to you for a while. I'd love to see how things are going. When you layer your exposures, don't necessarily say everything that you want to say or ask all that you want to ask or share everything that you want. Don't do those in the initial exposure. Be patient. For example, if you did everything properly, but you told them everything, you explained everything, maybe you invited them to something, and for whatever reason, maybe they're busy, maybe they're sick, maybe they're out of town, maybe something's going on in their life, and they don't respond to you, you've really wasted that exposure, and you possibly have even damaged your posture the next time you want to reach out to them. So wait for them to respond, and then reach out and establish a specific time, hopefully, that you two can have an actual interaction. Because that's the goal. When you understand what the goal of your exposure is, the goal of my exposures is to get on somebody's radar. The goal of my exposure is to get somebody thinking about me again. The goal of my exposure is to set the, let's just say, precedent that when I reach out, I'm not doing it just to get something back. I want to have a true connection with that person. When I establish all those things, then it just makes it more natural for me to have a meaningful conversation, because at the end of the day, what do I want from that initial exposure or contact? I want to have a conversation with that person. That's all that I want. And if I can do that, then I can take it to the next step if it's possible. So really think about not only how much you're exposing, and without knowing everything that's going on, numbers being what they are, you're probably not exposing enough people in order to do what you need or want to do. So the answer is definitely more people, more times in a shorter period of time. But while you are exposing, really look at how you're doing it to make sure that you're doing it properly, because all exposure is not equal. Proper exposure is everything. This has been your business growth tip of the day. We'll see you next time.